You're leaving our engagement party to go see your male best friend just because he sprained his ankle? If you walk out that door, you have no objection to me canceling the engagement, right? What? Now you're regretting it? Crying? You say I'm the one you love most? That you'll keep your distance from him in the future? Where was this devotion earlier? Too little, too late. We're done. The agony of rebirth. As I opened my eyes, the blinding glare of a crystal chandelier forced me to shield my face. I had actually been reborn, returned to the engagement party 5 years ago. The clamor of laughter and the clinking of crystal flutes filled my ears. The air was thick with the scent of expensive champagne and fresh floral arrangements. Caleb, what's wrong? You look pale. A familiar voice sent a shiver down my spine. I slowly lowered my hand to see Vanessa Vance standing before me. She wore a champagne-colored gown, her hair swept up in an intricate chignon that exposed her long, porcelain neck. But her brow was furrowed, her eyes holding a trace of impatience. I'm fine, he replied coolly. I scanned the room, confirming this was the night of my greatest humiliation. The night Julian Thorne called Vanessa away from her own engagement party with a single phone call. We were in the garden of the Vance estate, guests mingling under the stars. My parents sat in a corner, their expressions indignant but restrained. They had always opposed my relationship with Vanessa. Ding. Vanessa's phone chimed. I didn't need to look to know who it was. Julian? What happened? Her voice softened instantly, filled with a concern I had never received. What? You twisted your ankle? Don't panic, I'm coming right now. Vanessa hung up and turned to me, her face a mask of anxious apology. Caleb, Julian got hurt. He's all alone at his apartment. I have to go check on him. Can you handle the guests for a bit? Hearing her words, I couldn't help but chuckle. In my past life, I had bitterly begged her to stay, suggesting we go together after the party. She had flown into a rage, calling me cold-blooded and petty before storming off. I was left alone to awkwardly field questions from the confused guests, covering for her. The next day, I was even coerced into buying a fruit basket to visit Julian. I had been a pathetic fool, consoling myself that love meant tolerance. But this time, since she cared so much about her platonic soulmate, I decided to let them have each other. They could be miserable together. Go ahead. My voice was calm and distinct. But if you leave, we are over. Vanessa's pupils contracted. She hadn't expected this reaction. She froze for a moment before asking, have you lost your mind? Abandoning your fiancé at our engagement party to take care of another man. I raised my voice, drawing the attention of nearby guests. Why would I keep a fiancé like that? I'm better off without you. My volume increased, and several guests turned their heads toward us. Caleb Sterling. My words infuriated Vanessa. How many times have I said it? Julian is just my best friend. He has no family in this city. Vanessa frowned, her tone scolding. I told you, he only has me. Aren't you tired of being so paranoid all the time? The familiar gaslighting made me nauseous. In my past life, she used this excuse to abandon me countless times. Birthday dates, our wedding anniversary, even when I was hospitalized with a high fever. Julian always needed her, and she always chose him. Then go to him quickly, I said calmly. After we break up, you can take care of him however you want. Isn't that better? The entire garden fell silent. Vanessa's chest heaved. Caleb, are you crazy? Just because I care about a friend? A friend. I laughed coldly, gesturing to the crowd of guests. What normal woman abandons her fiancé for a friend at her own engagement party? You are being completely unreasonable. Vanessa's face flushed red. I never thought you were this petty. Seeing my silence, her voice softened slightly, a tactic she often used. It's just an engagement party. We can throw a bigger one another day, okay? Come on, Caleb. Stop being angry. Be reasonable. She turned to leave. In my past life, I had humbly begged her to stay. This time I wouldn't. Caleb Sterling, what exactly do you want? Vanessa, I told you. You can go, but the moment you leave, we are done. I will cut all ties. I'm giving you one last chance. Are you sure you want to do this? The chance was given. The choice was hers. Vanessa's face went pale. Caleb, you wouldn't dare. Do you know what you're saying? Over something this small. Is a person more important? Or is a party more important? You're unbelievable. If you have the guts, then do it. With that, she turned and stormed off, getting into the car waiting outside. Perhaps in her mind, I was just throwing a tantrum and wouldn't actually follow through. I watched her leave coldly, saying nothing more. Everyone, I picked up a microphone. Thank you for attending Vanessa Vance and my engagement party. However, I regret to inform you that the engagement is canceled. The garden erupted in uproar. Vanessa's mother rushed over, grabbing my arm. Caleb Sterling, do you know what you're doing? Stop talking nonsense. I know exactly what I'm doing. I remove her hand from my arm. For 5 years, I have played the role of the tolerant partner between your daughter and Julian Thorne. But today, I've had enough. My engagement to Vanessa is hereby canceled. We are finished. I turned and walked toward my parents, who had just arrived at my side. My mother had tears in her eyes. My father looked shocked. They had never heard me speak to Vanessa like that. Mom, Dad, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I whispered. It's okay. Let's go, my father sighed. The onlookers whispered. Wait, aren't Caleb's parents the heads of the Sterling Group in Chicago? How is that possible? Isn't Caleb just a lapdog? Sitting in the car, my mother finally broke down sobbing. Caleb, what happened? I watched the streetlights streak backward outside the window. Memories of my past life flooded back like a tide. The nights Vanessa stood me up, the look in my daughter's eyes asking, why isn't mommy coming home? And finally, the blinding headlights and the screech of brakes. I made the best decision of my life, I said. My father looked at me through the rearview mirror. Are you really sure this time? You fought us, willing to give up your inheritance rights just to marry that Vance girl. Is this just a spat? Dad, it's not a spat. I'm really done. I want to come home. I interrupted him. If you're still willing to have me. Of course, of course. Mom's eyes were wet. It's never too late to come home. Father's gaze grew complex. Son, you know I always hoped you'd give up on the Vance girl and take over the business. You have the capability. It's a shame you insisted on running to her family. You've been hurt. I'm sorry, Dad, I said. If you give me a chance, I will prove my worth. But not by taking over the main company immediately. I want to start a subsidiary. The project is too big, and the Sterling Group is too entangled right now to pivot quickly. Do you have an idea? Father asked, puzzled. Yes. Healthcare, he replied. That is the future of the industry. Father was silent for a long time before finally nodding. Fine. I'll give you $10 million in seed funding. I want to see preliminary results in 6 months. 3 months, I said. I only need 3 months to get the prototype out. We'll be profitable in a year. Back at the Sterling estate, I immediately began drafting plans. In my past life, blinded by love, I had abandoned my family's resources and my own ambitions. In this life, I would hold my destiny firmly in my own hands. The next day, I received over a dozen calls for Vanessa. I ignored them all. That evening, Vanessa brought Julie into my apartment, claiming she wanted to apologize and explain the misunderstanding. When the doorbell rang, I was organizing the business plan for the new company. Through the peephole, I saw Vanessa standing there, flanked by the figure I knew all too well, Julian Thorne. Caleb, I know you're home. Vanessa's voice came through the door. Open up. Julian was so worried about your misunderstanding that he insisted on coming over to apologize personally. My hand paused on the handle, but eventually I opened the door. Since I was reliving this life, some things needed to be said face to face. Vanessa wore a pale pink dress, her makeup flawless, holding an exquisite gift box. Julian, dressed in casual wear, had an exaggerated bandage wrapped around his left ankle and leaned on a crutch, wearing a look of practiced frailty. Caleb, Vanessa started. Well, at least you opened the door. This is for you. A peace offering from Julian. She held out the box. If you have something to say it fast. I don't need the gift. I didn't take it, just looking at them coldly. Caleb, bro, there really isn't anything going on between me and Nessa. I only see her as a big sister. Julian hobbled forward, his voice dripping with grievance. It's all my fault for being clumsy. I can't even leave the house without twisting my ankle. How can we blame you, Julian? Vanessa immediately supported him with a look of heartache, then turned to explain to me. Julian couldn't even walk after twisting it yesterday. It happened because he was trying to get ready for our engagement party. I couldn't just leave him alone, could I? He feels terrible that the engagement was canceled because of him. I watched their rehearsed performance, scenes from my past life flashing through my mind. Every date, every significant anniversary, Vanessa would leave because of Julian's sudden emergencies. Even when our daughter was hospitalized with a high fever, she rushed off because of a single phone call from him. So, I said calmly, why exactly are you here today? Vanessa bit her lower lip, a gesture that used to make my heart soften, but now only annoyed me. Caleb, I admit I didn't handle the engagement party well, but there was a reason. Julian really needed me. But you canceling the engagement just because you were jealous. That was too much. If you apologize to me, I might consider forgiving your rashness this one time. By the end of her sentence, her tone had turned charitable, as if she truly believed I was playing hard to get. When you are truly speechless, sometimes you just have to laugh. Julian interjected at the perfect moment. Caleb, bro, if you're mad because of me, I can contact Nessa less in the future. Don't break up on my account. As he spoke, he deliberately swayed, pretending to lose his balance. Vanessa immediately tensed, grabbing him. Don't move. Your ankle isn't healed yet. I watched their intimacy and laughed out loud. Are you done? I asked. If you're done, get out. Vanessa's expression froze. Caleb Sterling, what does that mean? It means, I looked directly into her eyes, I am sick of always being second to Julian. Sick of worrying that every date will be interrupted because he suddenly got sick or had an accident. Sick of my fiancé valuing another man more than me. Julian's face changed. Caleb, how can you say that? Nessa and I are really just. Just what? I interrupted him. Just pure friendship? Then why does he call precisely every time we have a date? Why do you have to ask his opinion on what clothes to wear? Vanessa looked at me in shock. Caleb, you're being so petty. Do I really not deserve your trust? No, you don't. I was blind before, but now I see clearly. I sneered. And Julian, is your ankle really sprained? Do you want to unwrap that bandage right now and take a look? Julian's face went ghastly pale, and he subconsciously pulled his foot back. Vanessa jumped like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. Caleb, you're crossing the line. Julian is hurt like this, and you still doubt him? Enough. I raised my voice. Vanessa, I met you today to say this to your face. We are done. You can continue to be inseparable with your little brother, but don't appear in front of me again. Vanessa looked incredulous. Caleb, are you serious? Over something so trivial. Trivial? I laughed in anger. Always choosing him over me is trivial? Abandoning me publicly at our engagement party is trivial? I had no choice. Vanessa flared up. I told you Julian was hurt. He needed me. Can you stop being such a petty man? Then he can need you forever now. I pointed to the door. Please leave. We're broken up. Don't come looking for me. Vanessa stood still, frowning. You're really going to throw a tantrum and play runaway over something less than trivial? You know, everything you have now, I gave you. If you leave me, let's see how you survive. Don't worry about me, I said indifferently, finding it hilarious that she actually thought she was the source of my success. Caleb, Julian suddenly switched personas. Actually, I always thought you and Nessa were a good match. If it's because of me, get out. I couldn't be bothered to listen to his nonsense. Don't make me say it a second time. Fine, Caleb Sterling. You're doing great. Since you said it, don't you dare regret it. Without me, what are you? My repeated rejection turned Vanessa's embarrassment into anger. Let's wait and see, I replied calmly. You? Vanessa pointed at me, her finger trembling. Fine. Let's go, Julian. Ignore him. Since he wants to be jealous, let him suffer out in the real world and learn a lesson. But how will Caleb live if he leaves? I said, don't worry about him. Let's go. With that, she supported Julian and they left. When they were finally gone, I let out a long sigh and pulled out my phone, dialing a number. Marcus Reed? This is Caleb Sterling. Regarding that paper on medical AI, I'd like to talk to you in person. A week later, I moved to San Francisco, started building a team, and completely cut off contact with Vanessa. The first person I recruited was Marcus Reed, a genius programmer who had been overlooked in my past life. Back then, Vanessa had rejected my recommendation of him because she didn't like his weird personality. This time, I visited his rundown rental apartment myself. When Marcus opened the door, his hair was a mess, and behind his glasses were wary eyes. I told you I'm not interested. Mr. Reed, I think you can spare me a few minutes. I handed him a file. Read this first. It was a paper on medical AI that Marcus had written 3 years ago. After being rejected by mainstream journals, he had published it on a personal blog. In my past life, its value wasn't discovered until after he died in a car accident. Marcus's expression changed. How did you find this? I know its value. I look him in the eye. I also know about your breakthrough in medical image recognition algorithms. Marcus, I'm not here to hire you. I'm here to invite you to be a partner. Marcus's eyes lit up. 2 days later, he appeared in my temporary office with his laptop. Another week passed, and he hesitantly asked if his sister could intern. She just got into the computer science master's program at Stanford, but she can work full-time during the summer, Marcus said. She's much smarter than I am. I initially wanted to refuse. I had almost no impression of Maya Reed from my past life. But thinking of Marcus's value, I reluctantly agreed. Have her report next Monday. Monday morning, I was reviewing the business plan when there was a light knock on the office door. Come in. The door opened, and a girl with a ponytail walked in, wearing a simple white t-shirt and jeans, holding a laptop. She had large eyes similar to Marcus's, but her gaze was sharper, more spirited. Hello, Mr. Sterling. I'm Maya Reed. Her voice was crisp and pleasant. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Your brother says you're good with algorithms? I won a gold medal at the ICPC World Finals, she said calmly, without a hint of boasting. Recently, I've been researching the application of neural networks in early cancer screening. My pen stopped on the paper. That was exactly the core direction of our project. Show me, I said. 3 hours later, Marcus, Maya, and I were still debating fiercely in front of a whiteboard. This 20-something girl's understanding of deep learning shocked me. Some of her optimization proposals even surpassed our lead researcher. You're hired, I finally said, not as an intern, as a full employee, responsible for algorithm R&D. Maya's eyes sparkled. Really? But I haven't graduated. I'll coordinate with the university, I said. Talent doesn't have an age requirement. 3 months later, our first product, an AI-based early screening system for lung nodules, completed clinical testing. The accuracy rate reached 96%, far exceeding the industry average. My father came to see the demo as promised. Afterward, he patted my shoulder, a rare gesture. Next Monday is the board meeting. You're coming to present. That night, the team held a celebration dinner. Maya had a little wine, her cheeks flushed, and ran out to the balcony for some air. I walked over with 2 glasses of juice. Here, I handed her one. Don't drink too much. There's code to write tomorrow. She took the glass, her fingers accidentally brushing mine, and she immediately pulled back. Thank you, Mr. Sterling. Call me Caleb in private, I said. You and your brother are the core of this team, not just employees. She turned to look at me. Under the moonlight, her eyes looked like obsidian. You know, my brother said the best decision he ever made was agreeing to join your team that day. I looked out at the city lights of San Francisco, and the best decision I ever made was giving you 2 a chance. Maya suddenly smiled. I heard you gave up a wealthy socialite fiancé to start this company. She chose her male best friend, I said lightly, surprised that I no longer felt the pain. Sometimes losing something is a stroke of luck. Was the best friend better than you? Maya asked, tilting her head. A garbage human being who relies on deceiving women. A waste of space. In the heat of the moment, I blurted out my disgust for Julian, immediately regretting it. How could I say such things in front of a woman? Sorry, I shouldn't have. I said awkwardly. No, I'm glad you're willing to tell me, Maya said seriously. It means you trust us. In that moment, I realized that spending one afternoon with Maya Reed made me feel more relaxed and happy than 5 years with Vanessa Vance ever had. 6 months later, the company's valuation broke $1 billion, and I was named top of the Fortune 30 under 30 list. The day after the magazine hit the stands, I received a call from Vanessa. It was the first time in over a year. Caleb, I'm sorry. Her voice trembled. Can we meet? Caleb, can we meet? Vanessa's voice came from the phone, carrying a softness and pleading tone I had never heard in my memories. I stood before the floor-to-ceiling window of my office, overlooking the glittering night view of San Francisco. My fingers unconsciously tapped against the window frame. Anything you have to say, you can say over the phone. My voice was so calm it sounded foreign even to me. There was silence on the other end for a few seconds, followed by a soft sigh. I know you're in San Francisco now. I'm here on a business trip. Let's just catch up as old friends. The corner of my mouth pulled into a cold sneer. The Caleb of my past life might have been ecstatic at the term old friend, but now I only felt the absurdity of it. 5 years of marriage, countless instances of abandonment, and finally, the lives of myself and my daughter. I'm very busy, Miss Vance. I deliberately used the distant title. If there's no business to discuss, let's leave it at that. Wait, her voice suddenly became urgent. Our company is very interested in your AI medical system. We want to discuss a potential partnership. My finger paused on the frame. The Vance Group's main business was traditional medical devices, which did intersect with our technology. But I knew this was just an excuse. In my past life, at exactly this time, the Vance Group was facing a cash flow crisis due to Julian's bad investment advice. Tomorrow morning at 10. Come to my office. I spoke briefly and hung up. Turning around, I saw Maya standing at the office door, holding a stack of files, looking a bit awkward. Sorry, Caleb. Mr. Sterling. I didn't mean to eavesdrop. She walked in and placed the files on my desk. This is the final plan for next week's launch. I nodded, noticing her hesitation. Is there something else? Maya bit her lower lip, a habit that made her look younger than she was. Was that Vanessa Vance? Your ex-fiancée? I raised an eyebrow at her. You know of her? Business Week published your story again last month. Her voice grew quieter. After all, the drama between you two was quite sensational. I couldn't help but chuckle. The media always loved a dramatic narrative. But as I laughed, I suddenly realized a problem. Wait, did that article mention my current company? Maya nodded. Not only mentioned it, but it also detailed our technical direction. Caleb, is there a risk? My expression turned serious instantly. In my past life, Vanessa had used my trust multiple times to obtain trade secrets to help her father's company through crises. Since being reborn, I had kept a low profile specifically to avoid attracting the Vance Group's attention too early. Get the head of PR in here, I decided quickly. We need a strategy. Maya turned to leave, but I stopped her. Tomorrow, Vanessa is coming to the company. You and your brother will attend the meeting too. Her eyes widened. Us? But that's a business negotiation. Exactly. I looked her in the eyes. I need people who actually understand the tech to be there, to stop her from fishing for key information. Maya's expression shifted from surprise to understanding, finally settling into a firm nod. Understand? The next morning at 9:50, I stood in the conference room, watching through the glass wall as Vanessa signed in at the front desk. She wore a beige business suit, her hair in an elegant bun. Every gesture was still that of the heiress I remembered. When she walked into the conference room and her eyes landed on me, I clearly saw a flash of shock. It wasn't surprising. Since my rebirth, I had lost the weight I gained from depression in my past life. My tailored suit outlined a fit physique, and my eyes no longer held that careful desire to please. Caleb, she called softly, a tremor in her voice. Ms. Vance, please sit. I gestured to the seat across the table in a businesslike manner. Let me introduce you. This is our CTO, Marcus Reed, and our head of algorithms, Maya Reed. Vanessa's gaze swept over the Reed siblings, lingering on Maya for a few seconds. I noticed a microscopic frown. Previously, whenever she saw young women working near me, she would make that face, and I, to keep her from getting angry, would distance myself from female colleagues. Let's keep this brief. I turned on the projector. This is our product line and cooperation model. You can see which aspects fit your company's needs. Throughout the meeting, Vanessa was absent-minded. She kept trying to steer the conversation from business to personal matters, asking about my life, even mentioning, remember that restaurant we used to go to? Whenever this happened, Maya would timely interject with technical details, pulling the topic back on track. Twice, Vanessa tried to ask about the core logic of the algorithm, and Marcus flatly refused to answer on the grounds of trade secrets. Halfway through, the receptionist knocked. Mr. Sterling, your 11 o'clock appointment arrived early. I stood up. Apologies, Ms. Vance. We'll have to continue another day. Vanessa clearly hadn't expected the meeting to be so short. She stood up hurriedly. Caleb, can we talk alone? Just for a moment. I'm very busy. I organized my files without looking up. Maya, please walk Ms. Vance out. When the conference room door closed, Marcus let out a long breath. She wasn't here to discuss partnership at all. I know, I sneered. I never intended to work with her. She wanted to fish for information, and I wanted to see what she was up to. It looks like her father's company really is tight on cash if they need new tech to boost their stock price, Maya said thoughtfully. The way she looked at you. It wasn't how one looks at an ex-fiancée. I looked up at her and found her staring at the door with a complex expression. In that moment, I realized something. Does that bother you? What? No. Maya's face flushed red instantly, and she frantically gathered the files. I was just being observant. Occupational hazard. Purely occupational. Marcus looked at his sister, then at me, and suddenly coughed. I'm going to check the code for next week's demo. He bolted out of the room. Only Maya and I remained, a strange awkwardness filling the air. Mr. Sterling, Caleb, I interrupted her. Call me Caleb in private. She looked up, her eyes brightening. Caleb, I think you shouldn't meet her alone. The sudden advice stunned me. Why? I don't know. Maya twisted her fingers. But the way she looks at you, it's like someone looking at a treasure they threw away and realized was valuable. People like that are dangerous. My heart softened. In my past life, no one had ever cared about me so directly. Vanessa only demanded understanding and tolerance, never considering my feelings. Thanks for the warning, I said softly. But don't worry. I know exactly what kind of person she is, better than anyone. 3 days later, my premonition came true. Marcus rushed into my office, face pale. Someone tried to breach our code repository. I stood up immediately. Damage report? Luckily, Maya added a new firewall last night. The intrusion was blocked. Marcus handed me a report. But they were professional. They almost broke into the test server. I scanned the report, stopping at the IP trace results. Although they used multiple proxies, our security team traced it to a familiar range, the Vance Group headquarters building. Should we call the police? Marcus asked. I shook my head, a plan forming in my mind. No, I have a better idea. The next day was the opening of the San Francisco Medical Tech Summit. I was attending as a keynote speaker. Before going on stage, I saw Vanessa's name on the guest list. She was attending in place of her ailing father. My speech topic was safety and ethics in AI medicine. When the screen switched to a diagram of a cyber attack path, I noticed Vanessa in the front row straighten up abruptly. As you can see, cyber attacks targeting medical AI systems are on the rise. I paused deliberately, my gaze sweeping the room. For example, the intrusion attempt on our company 3 days ago. A murmur of surprise rippled through the venue. I clicked the remote, and the screen displayed a geographic map of the attack source IP, pinpointed to the city block housing the Vance Group. Fortunately, our team anticipated such risks. My voice was calm and powerful. I want to say to anyone interested in shortcuts, in this field, there are no shortcuts, only grounded research and innovation. After the speech, the media swarmed. I politely declined most interviews but deliberately bumped into Vanessa outside the hall. Caleb, her face was pale. About your speech, I want to explain. No explanation needed. I looked at her calmly. Just a word of advice. The hacker Julian introduced you to isn't very good. Try someone else next time. Her pupils constricted violently. I had accurately named Julian. This clearly terrified her. How do you know? I know much more than you imagine. I stepped closer, lowering my voice. Stay out of my life, Vanessa. Don't force me to make everything public. I saw Maya standing not far away, waiting for me. She wore a pale blue dress today, looking exceptionally fresh amidst the sea of black and gray business suits. Great speech, she smiled, then lowered her voice. I saw you talking to Ms. Vance. Everything okay? Phoenix. I naturally took the document folder from her hands. It's lunchtime. Join me? There's a great Sichuan place near the convention center. Maya blinked. Just the two of us. Just the two of us, I confirmed. Unless you mind? No, I don't mind. Her flustered reaction made me smile. During lunch, Maya told me her brother had found issues with the Vance Group's recent financial reports. They've inflated revenue by at least 30%, she whispered. My brother hacked into, he stumbled upon their internal system. I raised an eyebrow. Marcus knows forensic accounting. He minored in accounting, Maya said proudly. And he found that the Vance Group's recent investment decisions are weird, like they were made by someone who knows nothing about the medical industry. I understood immediately Julian. In my past life, he had dragged the Vance Group down with ridiculous investment advice. And eventually, Vanessa begged me to secretly ask my father to use family connections to save them. This time, no one would extend a hand. Caleb, Maya hesitated. There's something I've wanted to ask you. If Vanessa really regretted it, would you? No. Some people are missed, and they stay missed. Some mistakes only need to happen once in a lifetime. Maya's eyes lit up, the corners of her mouth twitching upward. Sunlight streamed through the window onto her profile, and I noticed a small dimple in her right cheek when she smiled. In that moment, I realized I hadn't looked at someone this intently in a long time. With Vanessa, I was always carefully monitoring her mood. Now, I could openly admire Maya's dimple. Mr. Sterling, are you there? An urgent voice interrupted my thoughts. The company's PR director rushed into the restaurant. We have a problem. She handed me a phone. The screen displayed a breaking financial news story. Scandal. Sterling Group heir gave up billion-dollar inheritance for love. The photo was my engagement picture with Vanessa from 5 years ago, alongside my current company address and home address. Is this true, sir? The PR director asked anxiously. My fingers tightened. Who leaked this? I've contacted security to reinforce your home protection, the director said quickly, seeing my silence. But reporters are already gathering at the company in trance. Maya stood up suddenly. We'll go out the back. She expertly led us through the kitchen and employee exit to a quiet alley. Her calm under pressure impressed me again. How do you know this way? I couldn't help but ask in the car. Maya smiled slyly. I waited tables at this restaurant during my internship. Programmers have to eat too. On the way back, my phone rang. A strange number. Hello. Caleb Sterling. It was Vanessa. You're really the Sterling Group heir? You lied to me all this time. She screamed hysterically, filled with both rage and regret. Why didn't you tell me who you really were? I never hid it. You never asked. I hung up and turned off the phone. Maya looked at me with concern. You okay? I'm fine. I looked out at the passing city. Actually, never better. Because this time, I finally saw who was worth my heart. When we returned to the office, Over a dozen reporters were swarming. Flashlights hit us like a storm as security formed a human wall. Mr. Sterling, are you really the Sterling heir? Is it true you gave up the family business for Vanessa Vance? Are you returning to business for revenge? Questions fired like bullets. I kept my face expressionless, walking briskly toward the elevator. Maya followed closely. A reporter suddenly grabbed her arm. Miss, what is your relationship with Mr. Sterling? I spun around, pulling Maya behind me. Respect my employee. The ice in my voice made the reporter let go instantly. Once the elevator doors closed, Maya exhaled heavily. God, that was crazier than I imagined. The PR team was waiting in the conference room. Marketing director Leo handed me a report. Boss, the paparazzi likely dug it up. Our company was funded by Sterling Group. You have the last name, and you've been seen with the chairman. That video from the engagement party. People online are going crazy. Leo pulled up social media. The hashtag billionaire simp is trending. Maya gasped lightly. They found your college photos. My God, is this you? On the screen was a photo of me at 20, wearing a bespoke suit on the Sterling Group stage, the massive family logo behind me. My eyes then were bright and confident, a stark contrast to the careful man I became with Vanessa. That's me, I said briefly. Ancient history. No, this is important. Maya's eyes shone. This shows you not only have technical vision, but management experience with a business empire. We can use this. She quickly sketched something on her tablet. We can craft a narrative. Genius heir rebuilds tech empire. Shift the focus from romantic gossip to a business legend. I looked at her plan and had to admit it was brilliant. The self that Vanessa suppressed was being easily awakened by a girl I'd known for less than 6 months. Let's do it, I agreed. Leo, contact Forbes and Bloomberg. I want an exclusive interview. The next 48 hours were like a war. I accepted 3 mainstream interviews, admitting I left the family business for love, but had returned with new technology. The PR department's contrast photos, the 20-year-old heir versus the current tech mogul, went viral. Maya led the tech team in overtime to prepare for next week's Global Medical Tech Summit. This was the industry's highest stage, and our AI diagnostic system would debut internationally. On the third morning, the receptionist stopped me. Mr. Sterling, a package for you. From Ms. Vance? It was a blue velvet jewelry box. Inside lay the engagement ring I had returned to Vanessa. Under the ring was a note. Caleb, I'm sorry. You've been angry long enough. Can we meet and talk openly? Sir, return to sender? The receptionist asked carefully. No need. I handed the box back. Donate it to a charity auction. Anonymously. As soon as I entered my office, Marcus rushed in. We have a problem. Vance Group just released a teaser for an AI medical product. The features are almost identical to our core product. I immediately opened my laptop to check the press release. The Vance Group announced the launch of an intelligent imaging diagnostic system, with marketing slogans and technical specs suspiciously similar to the product we were set to launch next week. They couldn't have developed a similar product in such a short time. Marcus was sweating. Unless they stole our code, I finished calmly. Check the server access logs. Half an hour later, the truth was out. 2 weeks ago, someone had logged into the code repository remotely using Marcus's credentials and downloaded the core algorithm module. The login IP showed Hangzhou, impossible as we were in the US, but the tech team traced the real address through the proxy, the Vance Group R&D Center. It's my fault. Marcus went pale. My laptop was stolen for 5 minutes at a coffee shop last week. I didn't think much of it. No, this is my oversight. I shook my head. I should have anticipated they would use dirty tactics. Maya stood up suddenly. It's not over. They stole the version from a month ago. They don't know about our latest neural network structure. Her eyes were surprisingly bright. Caleb, we can adjust the demo to show the iterated technology. I looked at the anxious faces of my team, my gaze finally resting on Maya. There was no panic in her eyes, only fighting spirit. Let's do it, I decided. From now on, we are in lockdown development. Phones handed in, no contact with the outside world. Maya is in charge of the technical adjustment. I want to see a new demo tomorrow morning. After the meeting, Maya stayed behind. Caleb, there's something you need to know. She handed me a file. I did a private investigation. Vance Group's finances are worse than we thought. I frowned as I read. The report showed Vance Group had lost money for 6 consecutive quarters. The most recent large expenditure was to a shell company called Sale Capital, Julian Thorne's company. They won't last 3 months. I closed the file. Stealing our tech is a Hail Mary. Maya hesitated. Do you think should we let them off? since they didn't get the core tech. No, I said coldly. This time, I want to watch them go bankrupt with my own eyes. The day of the Medical Tech Summit, the venue was packed. As I was about to go on stage as a morning keynote speaker, I ran into Vanessa backstage. She wore a white suit, makeup perfect, but the darkness under her eyes betrayed her exhaustion. Seeing me, she startled, then walked over quickly. Caleb, a word? Her voice pleaded. I checked my watch. I'm on stage in 5 minutes. Speak fast. She pulled me into a corner, taking out a familiar blue velvet box from her purse. I bought the ring back at the charity auction. Caleb, I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. I looked at her without expression. Ms. Vance, if that's all, excuse me. Wait. She grabbed my sleeve. Julian betrayed me. He sold my company's secrets to competitors. The financial fraud was him too. I didn't know about what he did to you. I gently pulled my arm back. That has nothing to do with me. It does. She sounded on the verge of tears. I know it was you. You set him up to be exposed. You hate me, so you're getting revenge. You're wrong. I looked at her calmly. I don't hate you. You just don't matter to me anymore. As for Julian, he's reaping what he sowed. My name was announced over the PA. Caleb, Vanessa called out one last time. If I hadn't chosen to go to Julian at the engagement party, would our ending be different? I stopped, but didn't look back. There are no ifs, Vanessa. You made your choice. I made mine. My speech was a success. When a giant screen showed the real-time diagnosis demo of our AI system, accurately identifying early-stage lung nodules that senior doctors missed, the room erupted in applause. During the Q&A, a sharp voice rang out. Mr. Sterling, industry insiders question whether your technology relies on fake data. How do you respond? The room went silent. I looked at the questioner, the CTO of the Vance Group, a corporate hack I knew from my past life. Interesting question. I kept smiling. Why don't we test it live? Would anyone like to provide a real case file? A specialist from Japan raised his hand and offered a difficult case image he had brought. On the big screen, our system gave a precise diagnosis within 30 seconds, matching the Tokyo University Hospital's final conclusion exactly. Applause thundered again. Just then, Maya ran in from a side door, looking grim. She rushed to the stage and whispered in my ear, Vance Group just issued a press release accusing us of stealing their trade secrets. My pupils contracted. The thief crying thief. A bold move. Everyone, I raised my voice. It seems we have some drama today. The Vance Group has just accused us of technology theft. I would be happy to respond to this accusation right now. Staff quickly connected the live feed. The screen split. On one side, the Vance Group press conference was happening. Julian Thorne, in a suit, stood before cameras swearing that we stole their core technology. The audience murmured. I looked down and saw Vanessa's face turn white. Clearly, she hadn't known about this move. Give me a moment, I told the audience, then turned to Maya. Can you hack their demo system? Her eyes lit up. I can be in within 5 minutes. 5 minutes later, the big screen split again. One side showed the Vance Group conference. The other showed their internal system interface. Maya had remotely accessed their demo computer. Please look, I pointed to the screen. This is Vance Group's so-called proprietary system. As I navigated, the source code displayed line by line. Maya highlighted key sections. These codes were clearly modified from our stolen version, even retaining our original comments. Most damningly, the system logs clearly recorded the download time and IP address, originating from the Vance Group R&D Center. The audience gasped. On the live stream, Julian's face went from red to white as he frantically signaled to cut the feed. The truth speaks for itself, I concluded calmly. In this industry, innovation is king. Plagiarism will always be exposed. The result of this public showdown was immediate. By that afternoon, Vance Group stock plummeted 30%, triggering a trading halt. Our company valuation doubled, receiving partnership offers from multiple international giants. That night, the team celebrated at the hotel. Maya was surrounded by everyone, praised for her calm, technical performance. To our genius girl, Marcus raised a glass. Maya blushed like an apple, her eyes unconsciously seeking mine. I raised my glass to her, feeling a warmth I hadn't felt before. After the party, I stood alone on the hotel terrace looking at the city night. Soft footsteps approached from behind. What are you thinking about? Maya walked to my side, holding 2 glasses of champagne. Thinking about karma. I took the glass. In my past life, they owed me. In this life, the debt is paid. She tilted her head. Past life. I realized what I said and quickly changed the subject. Just a metaphor. You were amazing today. Maya didn't press, just standing shoulder to shoulder with me. The night breeze blew her hair, carrying the faint scent of gardenias. Caleb, she said suddenly. Vanessa came to find me this afternoon. My fingers tightened around glass. Did she threaten you? No, the opposite. Maya turned to face me. She asked me how I see the current you. I scoffed. Why would she think I care? Because I told her, Maya's eyes sparkled in the dark, that you never gossip about others behind their back, whether praise or criticism. That is your inherent nobility. My heart skipped a beat. In my past life, Vanessa complained I was too rigid and boring. This girl called my restraint nobility. She also said, Maya hesitated. She looked up your family history and realized what you gave up for her. She said, if there was a next life. Enough, I interrupted sharply. There is no next life. Memories of the past life flooded in, cold hands, blinding headlights. Vanessa on the phone saying Julian needs me. My breathing grew rapid, the glass slipping from my hand and shattering on the ground. Caleb, Maya grabbed my arm in panic. What's wrong? I couldn't answer. The vision of my daughter's last smile, the siren of the ambulance. Memories I thought I had let go of exploded. Breathe. Follow me. Maya held my hands firmly. In, out. Yes, just like that. I mechanically followed her lead, slowly calming down. Cold sweat soaked my shirt, but the nightmare visions receded. My voice was hoarse. No explanations needed, Maya whispered. Everyone has memories they don't want to touch. She hesitated, then did something unexpected. She gently hugged me. Not a polite pat, but a solid, warm embrace. Whatever it was, her voice sounded in my ear. It's over. You have people who genuinely care about you now, including me. In that moment, I decided to truly let go of the past. The debt was collected. It was time to start living. I gently hugged her back. Thank you. The next morning, I received an email as soon as I got to the office. It was for Vanessa. The email was short. Caleb, I have officially resigned from all positions at Vance Group. My father has alerted the police regarding Julian's financial fraud. I don't know if you'll believe me, but I truly never wanted to hurt you. Wishing you and your company a bright future. Vanessa. I didn't reply, just marked it as read. That chapter was finally closed. Around noon, Maya knocked and entered, unable to hide her excitement. Guess what? MIT Technology Review listed us as one of the 50 smartest companies. It's the team's credit. No, it's yours, she said seriously. Without your leadership and vision, we wouldn't be here. Sunlight hit her profile, lighting up the fine hairs on her skin like gold dust. Maya, I called her name properly for the first time. Are you free this Saturday? I want to invite you to tour the Sterling Group headquarters. Her eyes went wide. Me? Why? Because I chose my words carefully. I want to show you my real world. Not just this startup, but the entire business empire I will one day inherit. Maya's face slowly turned red. She understood the implication. This wasn't just a tour. It was an acknowledgement of status, the start of a relationship. I'd be honored, she whispered, eyes shining. But one condition. What? You have to tell me why you call me Maya just now, instead of Ms. Reed. She smiled slyly. I smiled too. Because starting today, I want to call you something closer. Is that answer satisfactory? Her dimple deepened, barely passing. But I like it. Saturday morning, I stood in front of the Sterling Group tower, looking up at the 50-story glass structure. It really is more spectacular than I imagined. Maya's voice came from behind. I turned. She wore a simple white dress, hair loosely pinned up, no heavy makeup, no expensive jewelry, yet she shone brighter than anyone. You're here. I smiled, heart rate accelerating. Did you grow up in a place like this? She asked as we walked to the private elevator. Not exactly. I lived in the old estate until 16. Father only brought me here to see the business world. The elevator went straight to the penthouse. When the doors opened, Father's chief of staff, Mr. Lin, was waiting. Young master, Mr. Lin bowed slightly, glancing curiously at Maya. The chairman is waiting in the conference room. Thanks, Mr. Lin. I nodded. This is Maya Reed, our CTO. As we walked down the hall, Maya whispered, why did he call you young master? Is this the 21st century? I chuckled. Sterling family tradition. Father is chairman. I am young master. Someday my kids will be little masters, whether we like it or not. Father stood by the window. He turned, his gaze landing directly on Maya. Dad, this is Maya Reed. I introduced. Chairman Sterling. Maya greeted politely, neither humble nor arrogant. Father offered a rare smile. Ms. Reed, I've heard much about you. Your performance at my son's demo was excellent. I raised an eyebrow. Father had watched the summit? For the next 2 hours, Father personally toured us through the core departments. Surprisingly, he showed great interest in Maya's technical questions. Your father is different from what I imagined, Maya whispered later. He seems to really appreciate innovation. That's because you're talented enough, I said. In his eyes, talent outweighs background. The final stop was the Sterling Medical Research Center. This is our most valuable asset, Father said, passing a retinal scan. Decades of patient data. Maya looked at the rows of servers in awe. This is a gold mine for AI. That's why I brought you. Father looked at me meaningfully. Caleb, if your company is interested, we can discuss a partnership. The rooftop was empty, the wind from the bay hitting our faces. Are you reborn? Maya's voice was soft. I froze, turning to look at her. What? What did you say? Her eyes were clear. I know it sounds crazy, but since joining your company, I've had this weird feeling. You know the future. Your grasp of tech is too precise. Your reaction to Vanessa and Julian too extreme. Who are you? My voice was hoarse. I'm Maya Rit. Programmer, she smiled. And maybe the only person who understands. Because I remember some things too. Not supposed to be remembered. Fragments. A little girl in a car accident. A man crying in despair. That was my last memory. My legs went weak. Maya quickly supported me. I don't know why I have these memories, she said. But since I met you, I felt I had to help you avoid a tragedy. I reached out and tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. Thank you. I told her everything about the past life. She listened with tears in her eyes. So in this life, you not only avoided the tragedy, but saved countless patients. That's amazing. No, you're amazing, I said. Without you, I couldn't have done it. She stood on tiptoe and hugged me. If the current you knew, he'd be proud. Later, news broke. Vance Group files for bankruptcy protection. Chairman Vance hospitalized with stroke. Julian Thorne arrested for money laundering. Maya saw me staring at my phone. You okay? Calmer than I thought. The news ended with a paparazzi shot of Vanessa outside the hospital. Haggard, eyes red, a ghost of her former self. I closed the laptop, feeling no joy, only relief. The next morning, Marcus burst into my office. You have to see this. He turned on the TV. Police were escorting Julian Thorne, looking gray and defeated in handcuffs. The reporter spoke. Suspect Julian Thorne confessed during interrogation to planning a car accident murder 5 years ago. Well, in a timeline he claims to remember. Evidence found on his drives suggests premeditated plans against Caleb Sterling. My coffee cup rattled. The accident. He wanted you dead? Marcus looked horrified. I nodded slowly. The accident in my past life? It wasn't an accident. It was murder. Caleb. Maya appeared, putting a hand on my shoulder. He's caught now. He can't hurt anyone. I held her hand, feeling the warmth. Yes, this life was different. 3 weeks later, our AI system received FDA breakthrough device designation. The company valuation broke $10 billion. At the celebration gala, my father spoke. My son proved that true business wisdom isn't about what you inherit, but what you create. He raised a toast. Sterling Group will support his innovation as a majority shareholder. After the party, I walked Maya home along the Embarcadero. The Bay Bridge lights shimmered on the water. I have a question, Maya stopped. If one day you find out I'm not just Maya Reed, what would you think? I'd be grateful, I whispered. Grateful that fate gave me a second chance, not just for revenge, but to meet you. Under the moonlight, I took out a small box. I was going to wait for your birthday next week. I opened it to reveal a simple diamond ring, but now feels right. Maya gasped. Maya Reed, I said, I want to formally, seriously start a future with you. Will you be my girlfriend? Tears welled in her eyes, but she smiled brilliantly. I thought programmers weren't romantic. I'm learning, I smiled. So, your answer? My answer is, she leaned up and kissed me. Yes. The kiss was light, but electric. As I deepened it, I heard laughter on the breeze, like a blessing or a goodbye to the past. A new story had begun. Story complete.